Hello YouTube and welcome to Working Class Education again. It's been a little while, but I thought I'd just do a real quick video today and talk about the Kreg pocket hole jig system, or for those of you who don't know, pocket holes. Pocket holes are this amazing invention, or idea rather, where you can join two pieces of wood butt end to side, butt to butt, edge to edge, joint them however you wish. Right now I'm making some barn door, kind of decorative. Here we go. Excuse the mess, but you get the idea. They're pretty big. Mother-in-law wanted to hang those in her basement, kind of a sliding door deal. She couldn't find what she was looking for. Menards had some cheesy, cheap ones that were dented up. And I said, you know what? I'll figure it out. And I was just going to pocket hole the frame and then just screw this 7 boards to the back of it, but I found out that you get much more rigidity off of this, jointing them up together. I was a little concerned about warpage. That's where my other little tip, this is your education part here, when you're jointing together boards edge to edge, it's kind of hard to see here, but see how the grain cups this way, and then the next board I do the opposite way, the next board I do the opposite way. If I had each board cupping the same way, then eventually the way it would shrink and expand would cause it to hump or dip or curl, or however you want to say, because this board is going to want to turn this shape and frown at you, and this board is going to want to turn this shape and smile at you. But if you alternate them, it sort of offsets them. If you want to do even better, make these boards not as wide. This is the way she wanted the style, they want to be this wide. But ideally, maybe even half this width to even more alternate that grain pattern even more. Anyway, so it's not perfect, but it's definitely a very strong joint and very easy. So anyway, pocket holes. If you've seen the internet, you've seen pocket holes. And I have not the cheapest kit. They have one that's just one little deal here. You clamp it on. This one has 2. To be honest with you, I never used both of them at the same time. I find that these 2 holes would be too close together. But, it has a good book that shows you everything, what to do. I can't do anything one-handed here. But really, it's kind of self-explanatory. You pick your depth. It's not going to show up there. There you go. So, really I'm at 3/4. But over trial and error, I kind of figured out, okay, make that hole just a hair deeper. So I'm halfway between 3/4 and 1/2 inch thick material. And then same thing on this guy. Just set your collar. You can screw that onto this step drill. You're supposed to push it up against there and line it up to wherever you want for your material thickness, and clamp this piece on the edge of the board wherever you want to go. Clamp it there, put it there, put a screw in. Has this nice cool long, and as you can see, this is used. I've had this for a few years, and I tell you what, I use it all the time. It's just a really great way to have a nice, strong, easy, simple, quick joint. Some will argue that pocket holes are not the strongest joint. I'm sure they're not the strongest, but they're pretty darn strong. And they're really quick, really simple. This door here has about 120 pocket holes in just this part alone, so yeah, it's not the quickest thing in the world. I kind of had to set up a deal. That's where I wish I would have went with the step up. They have a bigger one that kind of clamps to a table and you just clamp the board into it. Be a lot quicker. And then they have a really expensive one that's like all inclusive, all in one power, pull the handle and it drills and everything for you. Also, if you get the Kreg pocket hole jig, get the pocket plugs. These are the paint grades. They're pretty cheap. They have a new fancy box for some reason. To me, that's a waste of money. Don't give us new fancy boxes and just throw them away. But let me save an extra nickel on the damn product. You can even get these in oak, red oak, fancy maple, whatever wood you're working with, but I just use the cheapos. And then, of course, you got to have, I use the Kreg poppet hole screws. You can use other screws. There's very good YouTube tutorials on what kind of screws you can and can't use. I use coarse thread, and there again, it even simplifies it for you. It used to just say coarse thread. Now it says soft. So soft pine. If you're using like a hard oak, then you could go fine thread. But I'm using soft pine. Use the coarse. It's a self-tapping, so you don't have to worry about wood splitting. It's got a nice square head on it to match your square bit, real strong. I use my impact driver. I don't use a drill. I'm sure you could use a drill, but the impact's really nice. It kind of bang, bang, bang at the end, give it just a good click or two, and it's damn tight. Anyway, quick little video, pocket holes. If you do any kind of woodworking at all, I would say that this is one of your very first tools. Even if you just had a handsaw and a drill, you can do a lot with these pocket holes. Shelves, anything. Really, your imagination's endless. But, how do you put two boards together? Well, you could just screw them together, but this is so much stronger because you're using, especially when you have end grain. If I just screwed into the end grain, well, it's just going to pull out because there's nothing really snuging it to it. But this crosses the grain, so it's the best of both worlds. Anyway, I can't even remember how much this was. It's not cheap. This deal is probably 60, 70 bucks. I don't even know what it is anymore. I've had it for quite a few years. This is the Jig R3. Like I said, I wish I would have got the step up one, which I think is like 140, 130 bucks. But I use it a lot. Anyway, this has been Working Class Education. Your left-handed puller factory worker talking at you. Hope to talk to you again soon.